Ify. Yes, you
Hi,
are. I
I'm
don't know
back
what's going on
again.
with the internet today. This is
Yeah,
very I've never encountered this kind of-
yeah. So, okay, so let me explain to you. So what happens is, usually for like video calls and video on demand
Okay.
services, you need a VPN
Oh,
service in Dubai. Yeah, so like that's why I have issues with WhatsApp calling. The only platform that works easily
oh,
without needing
really?
a video service is Zoom. Zoom is really easy to use and works very well. Yeah. So I had to like get a VPN to jump on this call. So that might be what
Oh,
that might be what's messing up the video.
fantastic.
But I can
Hear
hear
me.
you
Let's
loud
get
and clear.
started. So,
So
without further ado, okay. So we're having issues. Oh my God. This session, I'm hoping that it's going to hold today because we have a lot of things to talk about and share with everyone, especially those that are looking to go to Dubai to work as well as live in Dubai, you know. So let's wait for him to join us again. I'm hoping that it does not keep going back and forth. Oh yes, I've tried restarting it, and it's not from Nigeria. Yeah, it's from network over there in Dubai. I know that when I actually do go to Dubai, using certain services always a hiccup. You know, they're very, very protective. So he has to download the VPN and he has to activate it, you know, to show maybe the US or the UK to access Instagram. So okay, so requests. I can see you now. I can see you now.
yay,
Yes,
finally.
indeed. How you doing? Fantastic.
Okay, I'm doing great. So, like, this is like one of the things that you have to contend with as an African in Dubai. Like for most video on demand services or video calling apps, you need a VPN service. So I had to download like a fresh one. I had to pay for one now to be able to jump on the call, but I
Yay!
guess
I'm
you
happy
just
to
get
see
used to
you.
it after a
Regardless,
while. Yeah, but it's
I
great
get
to
you
see
at work,
you.
right?
Great to
And that's
know.
something we're also
Yes.
still going to fantastic.
Yes, I am at work. One of the things I have to get used to because yeah, we
So
work on
let's
Saturdays
just
here.
go into it because I know quite a number of people have been on the call. So
Yeah.
now, first of all, can you introduce yourself? I know you. I've known you for years, but can you introduce yourself
Okay, great. So first of all, thanks everyone that's on the call with all the technical issues and all. I really hope we can provide some valuable content and practical things that you can use in your journey. So my name is Ifeanyi Abraham. I head business development and marketing at a company called Talent Scout Global. So we're a global recruitment, learning, and development company. So we help clients hire smarter and faster, and then we help candidates find jobs. One largely across the GCC, but we also the GCC that's Dubai, UAE, Oman, Bahrain, countries within the region. But we also do work for like countries outside the region. So yeah, so my background is in marketing, public relations, and when I came to Dubai, well, this is moving into the conversation. When I came to Dubai, my first goal wasn't to start working. I came to Dubai because I wanted to move beyond being a local champion. That's why I came to Dubai. I wanted to move beyond this. I'd done quite a number of things in Nigeria, but I was looking for more. I was looking for an opportunity to spread my wings. So when I got here, I wasn't in a hurry to get a job. So I took some time to survey the terrain, to understand the terrain. So that's what happens to a lot of us sometimes.
Okay.
I think I passed the introduction, really. You asked me to introduce myself, but
This is going to be
yeah.
very informal, most informal chat that we'll ever have in this session.
Perfect. That's the best I like. Okay, so let me go ahead then. So when I got to Dubai for the first couple of weeks, so this was like my third time in Dubai. I'd come on holiday a few times. So I took some time to survey the terrain. Luckily, I had friends in Nigeria that had friends here that introduced me to their friends. So for like the first 2 months, I was just getting to know people, looking at the markets, and just speaking with people. I discovered as an African or as a Nigerian or even as an immigrant, when you come to this region, you have a disadvantage. One, the skills that you had from your country, except they were technical, are not easily transferable. So when you come here first, you need to find a way to position yourself in a way that the people feel like, okay, it's like this person knew what they were doing in their country. So it's bad perception that comes from immigrant countries. So I decided to first launch a product that will give people an opportunity to see what I can do, because the type of jobs I wanted were in PR and marketing. So I launched Nigerians in Dubai. So my goal with Nigerians in Dubai was to, most of the search results that you see are one around fraud, armed robbery. The sad thing is that Nigerians get a bad rap in Dubai for the things that a lot of our brothers do in the country. So my goal was to first like change that perception, do what I can in my own little way to change that perception. Then I wanted to chronicle like the impact and lifestyle of Nigerians living and when I was covering, I searched about work, I searched about so many things, but I could not find content that was tailored for Nigerians or Africans. So I wanted to create that content. So I launched the platform and I started writing content about working in Dubai, living in Dubai, different kind of content. And I launched a podcast as well. So in the podcast, I was interviewing Nigerians and Africans. I did topics like dating in Dubai as a Black person. I interviewed some professionals here, someone in real estate, because real estate is really massive in Dubai. I interviewed someone in HR. I interviewed different kinds of people to get like a perspective about the African or Nigerian perspective on Dubai. And they shared so much valuable information. But now things took a turn for me when I suddenly received an email from an Indian guy, and he was like, his boss wanted to be on my podcast. So this was interesting. I was like, this is a podcast that has been targeting Nigerians and Africa. Why does this person want to? So I Googled his boss. Yeah, she was well established, Swedish Palestinian woman. She had an amazing company, amazing products, and I was excited. But the first thing that came to my mind is, okay, I can't really see the relevance for my audience. But there's a saying by Mark Twain. Mark Twain says that to a carpenter, everything looks like nails. So to a person that is building a certain product, you have to see the opportunity. You have to find the opportunity. So you know what? I looked at the company and I thought like, okay, it looks like her product could target Africans, could target Nigerians. And I agreed to the podcast. So I had a Swedish friend, really amazing guy, Jim. So Jim and I had a conversation, and his background, he's Swedish as well. So he told me certain things about the Swedish culture. So I was able to tailor the interview in such a way that the content could be relevant to Africans and Nigerians. So I had the interview, was really good. I interviewed her, she loved the interview, and we stayed as friends. Now, around this period, I started looking at what I could do a bit more seriously. So I looked at my Nigerians in Dubai platform, and I decided to scale the platform as a technology company. So I was going to launch a Nigerians in platform. It's still in the works, that would target several countries. So Nigerians in Dubai, Nigerians in Abu Dhabi, Nigerians in Ghana. So I worked on a pitch deck, and I took it to a startup incubator called In5, and they loved my idea. They gave me some initial feedback, and they arranged for another session for me to come and pitch to them. So, in fact, I wore this outfit for the pitch. I just remembered now. Yeah, so I went for the final pitch. It was like a 5-man panel of investors, and they loved it. Like after the pitch, they gave me some advice on how to improve. And then like 3 days later, I got an email from them saying they have accepted me into their incubator. Now, so they accepted me into the incubator. So what they were offering me was, one, a lesser fee on the cost of registering a company in the UAE. So where I would have paid about 25,000 dirhams, they offered me about 12,000 dirhams paid instrumentally. Can you still hear me? Yeah? Okay, great. So they offered me like a lesser fee then. So I was going to get like a space and then access to investors and different things. But at that point, my money was beginning to run out, to be honest. I was getting to a point where I was like, I needed like an infusion of cash. So now this lady, going back to the lady I interviewed, she sent me a message and she said that she has a job opening in her company. And do I know anyone that would be interested in that sort of job? And I was like, it was a role in operations. Now, like I'd had this glamorous career in Nigeria, heading PR and marketing. Like, what am I doing in operations? Like, why should I? So, but then I had a conversation with my Swedish friend. Trust, one of the things that we should not discount when you move to a new country is local knowledge. So finding someone that has local knowledge. So my friend had been in the country for about 5 years. So he had a lot of local knowledge. And he was like, you know what, why don't you take this job and see how it works? So I fought with a little, but then I told the lady, I was like, okay, you know what, I will take the job. And she was like, what, you really? And and then I went for the interview, and she was like, just looking at your experience and just from talking to you, I feel like you're overqualified for the role and you might leave too fast. So why don't we do this? Why don't we play around with the role a little bit and find some relevancy for you? So she added like a marketing element to the role. And then I started in operations and marketing. Now, a week into my stay in the company,
1 week,
my role changed totally. And then yes, 1 week. That's how I moved into sales and marketing. So they discovered that I had an aptitude for certain things. I just started talking to clients, and it was doing well. So my role changed. So the operations part of my role just went off totally. I stopped doing operations. They hired someone else for operations, and then I started doing sales and marketing. In my first month in the company, I brought in revenue of over 140,000 dirhams. In Naira, that's almost 15 million Naira. That's almost 15 million Naira. Yes. 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 So I brought in that much revenue. And it was great because it was a product that I liked. Because in Nigeria, I did PR. And I worked closely with a lot of CEOs. I worked with Jason Njoku of Iroko. I worked with Sim Shagaya of Konga. I worked with Valentine Ubi of Transact, and I worked with Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos State government. So I had some, like I did a lot of executive management, PR. So now the job I was doing was very similar to that. So it was bringing global speakers into the region. So on different subject matter experts on different topics. So that was the job. So I had to do like a lot of client advisory, find the right speaker. So yeah, so it was a job that I found really easy. So it was great for me. And then I was doing company marketing as well, company branding. I was doing Instagram posts for the CEO and doing lots of things. So it was something I really liked. Now, so this was a very interesting time in my life. And then a few months into that role, I got my company had like a vacancy for a marketing team member. Now my boss told me, she was like, if I you're done, so they call me Ify. That's my Dubai
Did you
name,
say
Ify.
Ify is your Dubai name?
So because it's easier for them to pronounce.
We all call you
Yes,
Ify,
that's
but
my
go
Dubai
on.
name because it's easier to pronounce, right? Anyway, so they had a vacancy, and my boss was like, "Do you have any Nigerians or Africans that you think would fit into this role?" And
Of
you know
course.
what? It was a good point for me. So so let me hold that thought and just talk about this. So I feel like as a Nigerian or African in any country or in any company, you have a role. So you're an ambassador of Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya. And in everything you do in that company, you need to think about
Yeah,
how it
absolutely.
affects other
Absolutely.
people coming after you. So do your work in such a way because opportunities for Africans and Nigerians are affected by this African perception. And the African perception is what the West is better than Africa. That's the perception. So when you get into a new company, you need to do all that you can to blaze the trail in such a way that people they want more Nigerian. So my boss hired our first Nigerian, someone in content, someone that lived in Nigeria that was doing content for us. I remember then I used to write for the Opera News platform. So I did an article. I think the article had over 500,000 views. The article was titled "My company in Dubai just hired his next Nigerian," something around that. And I was just really happy that I'd been able to do my work in such a way that like I helped to even reduce the negative perception about Nigerians just a little bit. So, and then next month, another job came up. This time, the role was for a graphic designer. And then my boss said again, "Do you have another Nigerian?" And then we did interviews. We did like a job ad targeting Nigeria. And then we hired another Nigerian, this time in graphics. Another role came up like 2 months ago, this time in sales, but we needed the person to be living in Dubai. So we hired a Ghanaian. So now all of a sudden, a company that had no African or no Nigerian before suddenly had 4 African staff working for them. So that was how I was able to like just help improve the perception of Nigeria
Obviously, an
within my organization.
exemplary
So that's how
nicely
that
work
happened.
ethic as well as life, really. Good.
Yes, yes, very important. So I've left the company now, and I just started this new role. The new role is like in recruitment, which I'm very excited about because you know what, recruitment is one, and learning and development is one place that I can really make impact. It's one place, and then I'm very happy about my CEO Manju. She's Indian, she's an immigrant, so she had to face some of the discrimination with immigrants when she came initially. But then, so she's really dedicated to giving Africans more opportunities. She's really, really dedicated to it, and it's going to take a while to push the meter, but she's committed to pitching at least one African resume for every role that we have. So that's something that we're really committed to. Now, okay, so I've talked about a little bit about my career and experience. So since this is a casual talk, I'm just going to touch on a little some of the other things I feel like Africans that come here need to know. So now a job is like really important. Dubai is expensive for sure. Like any developed city, it's really expensive. So in terms of accommodation, living opportunities, so the UAE is 7 Emirates. UAE is broken out into 7 Emirates. Now there's Dubai, there's Abu Dhabi, there's Sharjah. Sharjah is not in Dubai. For everyone, most when I read about Nigerians talking about Dubai, they always assume Sharjah is in Dubai. Sharjah is a separate emirate on its own. There's Ajman, there's Ras Al Khaimah, there's Quain, and there's one more. Can't remember the name right now, but there are different Emirates that come together to, now each Emirate has its different advantage. So the UAE is not limited to Dubai. Just get that clear in your mind. Think about Dubai as Lagos, Abu Dhabi as Abuja, Sharjah as Ogun State, Ajman as Ibadan. So now these are direct examples because in terms of the cost of living, it's exactly the same as the states I just compared it with. So Dubai and Abu Dhabi are the most expensive parts of the UAE. But there are these other lesser Emirates where you can actually live in and get a similar standard of living as Dubai and but still be able to what's the word, survive and do well. So that even in those Emirates as well, salaries are lesser than Dubai as well. So that's something that you have to understand. So yes, I was talking about accommodation. So in Dubai, the different kinds of accommodations for Africans and Nigerians, they are shared accommodations. Maybe you can get like a bed space or like a 4-person room for between 500 dirhams to 1,000 dirhams, depending on the location. Now, there are certain jobs where the employer provides accommodation. Like if you work in hospitality, hospitality is a very big industry here. If you work in hospitality, then you can get accommodation. But if you don't get accommodation, then you have to think about how to get accommodation. Now, so there's 500 to 1,000 dirham for a shared apartment. Now, there are rooms. It is a full room. On the average, the room is between 2,500 dirhams to 7,000 dirhams. So that's a room in like maybe like a shared apartment or like a studio apartment. When I came to Dubai, my first rent for a room was about 3,500 dirhams. So yeah, but so it ultimately depends on the location. For
Was that
example, my
per
office
annum
is
or
in a
per
place
month?
called Business Bay.
Oh,
It's per month. It's per month
350
actually. Yes,
per
it's per
month.
month. Trust me, accommodation. Yes, trust me, accommodation is massive. It is. I paid 3,500 per month. I paid 3,800 per month.
Wow.
I paid all sorts of amounts for accommodation. So, like, yes, so you have to say you're getting a job. You need a job that is going to be able to pay. So, but you can cut your quote according to
Please.
your thoughts. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, just you have to just think about how you supplementing that income. So yeah, so accommodation is really it's something that you really have to think about. On food, good thing about food is there are a lot of there's Dera. Dera is a very popular part of the UAE that a lot of Africans know. In Dera, there are lots of African shops. So if you do not want to eat like Western or
I remember,
Indian or Pakistani
I
food, you
think in
can buy your
20, was
food
it
from
2018, late 2018, I went to Dubai. That I was looking for Amala. I was tired of it.
yeah.
I'm telling you, but my French lady graciously
Yes.
took me to, she works in Dubai as well, took me to the name of the place you just mentioned. We had to
Okay.
walk for about an hour for us to actually find an Amala.
Yeah.
It was so
Yes.
worth it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. In Dera, there are lots of yeah. No, but the interesting thing about food for Africans in Dubai is there are a lot more options now. There's a particular food franchise that has like lots of branches in Dubai, and their food is really good. And then there are lots of Nigerian Instagram vendors. Like food business is the easiest business to start as a Nigerian in Dubai. Like you can just start up a
what else
page and start to
sorry to
sell
cut,
food. So
cut
yeah,
you,
it's
but
really
what else
easy.
is that when I went again, I
Yeah.
noticed that I could easily order for food. You know, aside from pizza, you know, there are other
Yes.
places that I even look, even from that place that you mentioned, Dara or whatever it is. You know, they have an app. The local
Yes.
market,
Yeah.
local seller has an app, so, and that
Yes.
was just perfect
Yeah.
for me. I'll just order in, bring it to the lobby,
Yes.
and you know, take my food
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yes. So yeah, so food delivery apps here are really big, really big. So and yes, some of the local restaurants are on these food delivery apps, and it makes it really easy to just yeah. So that's food. Yeah. So accommodation, food. Okay, but I guess one of the places we
Aside
should
from
really
jobs,
talk
before you
about
get
is
into jobs, can you
jobs.
talk
So let
about
me come back to
networking?
jobs a little bit.
Because people don't talk about networking enough, you know, and because
Okay.
through networking you can get jobs and so on and so forth. So let's
Yes.
can we talk on networking first?
Yes. So let me use
Okay.
my personal experience as an example. For example, for like in my life in general, I've worked in maybe 6 organizations, and I did not get any of those roles by applying for a job. None. Every single job I've ever got
Me
was
too.
either through networking or
Yeah.
through LinkedIn
Yeah.
networking, every job. So networking
Mhm.
is really powerful. Even in Dubai, I talked about the first job I got was by um, through my direct boss. The second, this job I got now, I met my current CEO while I was working for the other company. And like for months, we kept in touch. And she always told me that if I ever was ever looking to change jobs, she would be
Was she
happy
sorry
to
to
take me.
cut in?
So yeah, so that it was so
Was she a what did she do like
yeah,
your current boss? What did she come and do in your previous place of work? Was she like a guest
yeah.
or
Okay. No, so she was a
right?
recruiter
All
for
right.
us. She was a recruiter for us. Yes. So she wants, so it's a
I get it.
recruitment company, so they used to recruit for us. And then just in her, like every time she came, she saw my energy. She liked the vibe, the conversation. So I get those were the things that shone forth for her. So that's why she really liked me. So networking is really important. To be the easiest way to get a job that will pay you well is through networking. I have a friend that just left Dubai. Like she got a job here, and it was through networking as well, through her former organization. Someone spoke about her, and they brought her to Dubai. They pretty much just brought her to Dubai. So there are lots of jobs here that you get by networking. Now, the thing about every encounter you have in maybe the coffee shop or the
Even the
mall,
gym.
you don't know who
Yeah.
the next person is. That's the way Dubai is. Even in the elevator, one time I met the GM of Signal Insurance in my elevator, and she was just frowning. So I just said hi, and I just said like, "How are you?" And then we just started having a conversation around, oh, she was late to work. Luckily, she walked close to me, so I ended up hitching a ride with her, and then I ended up sending her a proposal after to start doing work for them. So, like, networking has to be on steroids in Dubai. Steroids. Everybody is an opportunity, but now, you don't, it's important that they do not feel like it's forced. So it's not forced networking. It's
You
just,
felt
it's a bit more subtle. So, like having a conversation, then the opportunities just, so one, having your business card pretty early when you come to the UAE is great. You can always just print a business card that just says what you do, your name, what you do, and just like always be ready to hand that out. So that's very good. So yeah, so networking is it's the number one way to get a good job in the UAE.
if I'm gonna
That's
jump in real quick,
that's for
even
sure.
aside
So
from the
people need
UAE,
to,
anywhere in the world, to be honest, I'll use my experience
I
as an
agree.
example.
I agree.
Even if I made mention of he got
Yeah,
jobs, his best jobs through networking, same thing applies for me. Like the best opportunities that I've
yeah,
gotten has been as a result of,
yeah,
first of all, yes, you do network, but then you do an exceptionally good job that the person would never forget who you are. You know, that person would remember you, and you know it
yeah,
pays forward. You know, and obviously then you created a large pool of network and blah
yeah,
blah blah. So it's very important that you greatly network. What I do is before this call
yeah,
gets started, I go to attend 5 conferences. I don't care if they're paid or they're free. There are some conferences that will single out, or seminars I will
yeah,
single out that, oh, this year I'm going to attend this, I'm going to attend this. I deliberately attend and network. Don't just stand in
yeah,
the corner or sit down. Talk to the next person,
yeah,
because you don't know what that next person can actually do for you. Not that you should have that mind, but just be free. You know, for you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I guess like before I left Nigeria, for example, so in my I was running a PR and marketing company on the side, basically moonlighting. So I had a client that a friend introduced to me, and that client stayed my client for over 8 years. And I left my full-time job, and that client was like my major client for a while. I was just servicing them. In fact, after I came to Dubai and they found out I was in Dubai, they still had work for me. So the power relationships are very, very powerful. Relationships are very powerful. You know what? Personally, I I continue to learn how to improve my relationships. I have people that have given me so amazing opportunities that I can really. So relationships are really powerful, and they even become a lot more powerful when you leave the country. So yeah. So okay. So now just moving on to like jobs. I just have some advice. So I wrote an article on my blog about like tips for Africans and Nigerians because I find that I've met so many. I was in a taxi one day and a Nigerian guy picked me up and he was telling me about his experience with agents. Agents. So there are
So
so
now,
many agents
please
that
specify
deceive
what sort of
people.
agent you're talking
Oh, I'll
about
get you a
because
job.
they're obviously a different.
Yeah, so okay, so now there are job agents that tell you they will get you a job in the UAE. So they will charge you money for travel, for visa, and they will charge you money for
Okay.
job placement in the UAE as well. Now, there are a lot of those agents are fake. A lot of them are fake. So if you're going to be doing anything with an agent, you need to be sure that it's a reliable agent. Now, jobs, white collar jobs, if you're looking for a white collar job, it's the way to get a white collar job is not the same as getting a blue collar job. So agents for white collar jobs are usually fake. So this taxi driver was
Okay, I
basically
think
telling me his
your
experience about how
connection is a bit
he
shaky.
borrowed money from his
Your,
family.
like I say, the feedback from you is not as clear as it was. Is there any problem?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud, better. Yes, yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, yes,
Hello?
yes. I can hear you.
Okay. So this taxi driver was telling me about his experience. He borrowed money. Okay, great. Yeah. So this taxi driver was telling me about his experience. He borrowed money from his family. They lied that they were going to give him a 1 year visa. And then he got here and there was nothing. There was nothing. They just dumped him somewhere and disappeared. And he had to be sleeping like on the street. Like it was really, really crazy. So you have to be really careful when an agent makes you a promise to get you a job or anything here. A lot of times. Now, the easiest way to get a job as a Nigerian is get a 3 month visa. Get a Dubai 3 month visa. Now, before Corona, a 3 month visa would cost you between 150,000 to 200,000 as a Nigerian or as an African. It's slightly cheaper for other Africans. So now, but now, right now, they are not issuing visas to Nigerians coming here. So it's a combination
I
of
thought, I thought,
Corona, a lot of
I
African
thought they've
countries.
actually
But
changed that,
what?
being that the federal government actually banned Emirates from operating. So I think they had a conversation.
No. So you know what? So not yet. You know, a lot of times our government in Nigeria postures a lot. They posture a lot. So
They're
banning
lying.
Emirates airline, what is they posture? Yeah, they posture a lot. Yes. So if you read the aviation minister statement, it was a very PRE statement, basically saying that it's going to open soon, but that the flights are. So Emirates Airline is now going to Nigeria, but the visas are not ready yet. I spoke to my visa guys. I spoke, yeah. So we're hopeful that in the next 2 weeks, the information I'm getting is that in the next 2 weeks, the visa should start to come in. Yeah.
Of
But it's
course.
going to be a lot stricter. I just need to
Why
warn
do you think it's
people
going to
like
be a
ahead.
lot stricter?
Because, for example, okay, so because now some new visa regulations have been implemented for certain other nationalities. There are now nationalities that need to have like 6 month bank statements and a lot of this difficult. So it's going to be stricter. One, COVID-19. COVID-19 cases in the UAE are on the rise. We have like daily averages of like 800 to 1,000 now. So they do not want the situation where countries are bringing in the virus as well. So multiple testing in your country and here. So just different things that will. So it's going to be stricter. But I hear in the next 2 weeks. So yeah. So I'm just going to talk. So pre-COVID-19, So visas are just between like 1,500 to 2,000 dirhams, which is about like 150, 160K to 200K. If anyone is charging you for a 3-month visa for 250,000 naira, that was pre-COVID-19. They were just cheating you basically. That was like a scam. But we don't know what the new prices are going to be now, so we should know in the next 2 weeks. So get a 3-month visa and come to Dubai. Plan your accommodation properly. If you can avoid hotel stay, get a hotel stay. If you cannot afford a hotel stay, find a hostel. There are so many hostels. You can go on booking.com and just change location and just check for hostels in Dubai and get a hostel. Then when you come to Dubai, you don't have to think about now what's the qualification that I have, what am I willing to get, how much do I need to survive, and then you can start to look for jobs there. Now for certain jobs like security guards, there's a Dubai security guard certification. It's called SERA. So it costs about 200,000 naira or so to get. On the average, the security guard gets between 2,000 dirhams, which is about 220,000 naira now, between 2,000 dirhams to 3,500 dirhams. That's like a security guard salary. On the average, the cleaner salary is between 1,000 dirhams to 2,000 dirhams, depending on where you're working. So that's like a cleaner salary. Yeah, per month for sure. Yeah, between 1,000 to 2,000 dirhams. For other kinds of jobs, an office assistant could be between 2,000 dirhams to 4,000 dirhams. Like a graphic designer, depending on your skill level, can be between 3,500 dirhams to 5,000 dirhams. A business development person, for business development, you need Dubai experience, which is really important. Yeah, so entry-level business development could be between 2,500 dirhams to 4,000 dirhams, but there are so many other jobs that pay really well. Like teaching pays really well in the UAE. So if you have like a Western education, like a master's from the UK or the US, and you have your IELTS. Now IELTS is when I got here that I discovered that there are 2 types of IELTS. There's the IELTS when you want to teach, and there's the IELTS when you just want to prove your English language proficiency. Yeah, there are 2. There's IELTS academic. Yes, I just discovered that. So if you have your IELTS academic, you have a master's degree from the UK, US, you can get some pretty amazing jobs here. Maybe like 8,000 dirhams to 12,000 dirhams job range. 8,000 dirhams is like over 800,000 naira. So entry-level business development, like 2,000 dirhams to 4,000 dirhams. These are like African salaries that I'm quoting. It's a lot different for other nationalities. Like what we have in Nigeria, a British or an American obviously has like a much bigger advantage. That's one thing we always have to be ready to know. So yeah, so for like a senior business development salary, it could be anything between 4,000 dirhams to like 8,000 dirhams, depending on where you're working. But I've met a lot of really great Nigerians here that have really good jobs, really good salaries. I know what I just find about them is that they're usually a lot better than their contemporaries. There's a certain spirit of excellence that a Nigerian that is good has. So when a Nigerian that is well grounded, there's a certain kind of excellence that they have. So it's always great to meet those kind of Nigerians here as well. So yeah, so that's
excellence I'm talking about. Is it what we pretty much have taken for granted in terms of time management, in terms of owning our work, ownership of the job you're given? Okay.
Yes. Those are exactly those things. So yes, time management, work ownership. Now, English language is another advantage we have, to be honest. I feel like we speak good English in Nigeria. Like we are. Yes, I don't want to say great. I don't want to say good. Like, and then our written English is really good as well. Like when I see certain kinds of people, I'm like, really? Like the average person Nigerian speaks. So like an average Nigerian or African, Liberian, Ghanaian, they come with like Western English in an African salary. So there's the African salary for sure. You just have to know that there's an African salary in the UAE. But it's an no, but one of the good things is that the UK government, the UAE government does all it can to strip
Really?
biases off. So, for example, when you put a job,
I said
yeah,
really because if
what
you're
I can see
not
your
you're
expressions.
giving a chance.
Yes. Now, see,
So,
yeah, officially, there are certain things you cannot put in the job description,
okay.
like nationality, like you can't put that, you cannot
Oh
put
really?
sex, you cannot put age in your yes. So you have to understand that yes, there are certain organizations that have a nationality bias, but the government in itself,
Fantastic.
yeah, those kinds of things. So yeah, but now going back to the advice I was given around, so get a 3 month visa, come to Dubai, come to the UAE. Now, so there's the resume format, for example, in Dubai is different from Nigeria. So in Nigeria, I almost never had to put my picture on my resume. I almost never did. But in the UAE, the
You
resume
must
format
really
has
love
your picture on
you
the
must
resume.
really
So
love that.
your resume
Oh
has
sorry,
to
I
look,
can't hear you.
what is it?
I'm
I
I'm
love
seeing
it.
chats that I can't hear you,
Oh
sir.
really?
Sound I can't hear you.
No, she
Please,
probably
if
needs
you
to
can hear
just
me now,
she could
let me
probably
know by just
so
putting a
when you
comment in
join
the chat section there.
she probably needs to just click on her volume up button once and she'll hear me. Okay, so yeah, so resume formats are different, and then when you're creating your resume, you have to, there are two types of resumes. One, they're the picture focused resumes. Those resumes you create on maybe like platforms like Canva or Photoshop. Now, they might look really good, but you might have a disadvantage because there are certain companies that use something called ATS, applicant tracking systems. So what an applicant tracking system does is, yeah, what it does is it searches for keywords in the resume to be sure that you are a fit for that role. So, for example, you're applying for a business development job and there's no business development on your resume. Like if the company is using an applicant tracking system, automatically your
Throws it
resume will
out
not even be
automatically.
looked at all. Yes. So it's better that you use like more words, more text,
Okay.
less of all the graphic design, unless you are a graphics designer. And yes. So yeah, so it's very important. So you have to understand the resume format of the country that you're going to. So Dubai has a picture, has certain kinds of formatting. So you really have to understand that I wrote that article. So that's one thing you need to do. Then your LinkedIn profile is also really important as well.
And
Employers check
promotion.
LinkedIn a lot.
Yeah.
And then when you start to work here as well, you have to be really careful because it's easy for when you're applying for a new job, it's easy for your past employer to verify something about you from your former employer. So try as much as you can to leave a former employer on a good note. If for some reason you do not leave on a good note, in your cover letter, you need to states that there might be some bias from your own employer for some reason. So cover letters are really important here as well. So I like since I've been working in my new company for over a month now, and part of my I do some recruitment. I do a
So
lot of
that means you
recruitment
can
as well,
so
and
if
I've
you're
received
in
so many CVs that are bad.
so if you're looking for jobs or you have family members, friends that are in Dubai that need jobs, follow Ifeanyi's Instagram and across all platforms so that you are kept abreast of new.
Yeah, awesome. Yes. So you need to. So yeah. So you need to be very, very.
You need to be aware of the CV format. Your LinkedIn profile needs to look a certain way. You have to have the right keywords. Yes, so really important. And then there are some other skills that we discount in Nigeria, things like creativity. Those sort of things are important to employers here. How creative are you? Yes, so a lot of times there are things that you have done in your life. So, for example, that's why I started in Nigeria as a Dubai platform. Beyond my goal, my perception goals, I wanted to show my potential employers the products that I had built. So when I tell them I do marketing and PR, they go, okay, this is interesting. This is an interesting platform. So yeah, so you have to really find a way to really to differentiate yourself. I find that so what some people do, they come with a master's degree in the UAE. So in the UAE, there are a lot of Western schools. There are a lot of schools that have UAE campuses. So sometimes people that want to make that transition into the UAE, they do that. Now, okay, yeah. So those are just
If we lost you. If you can hear me, let me know. We've lost you. Yeah, literally just frozen on my phone. We've lost you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this so I can come back. Yeah. All right, so let's wait for him to come back. And once he comes back, there are quite a number of questions that have been sent in. He's just going to answer those questions just to provide more clarity on all that he has spoken about so far. But I actually hope that you guys find this conversation very, very useful. And also please share with your family and friends that need this information as well. You may not need it, you may need it later in the future. Save it if you will, but share with those that are in need of it. Okay, more people see it and more people get to understand. I'm not saying that people should all migrate out of Nigeria. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can tell, you get a fantastic opportunity to actually go to Dubai to actually work, and live with your family. Why not? Take it. Why not? Life is too short. Okay, this life is one. So let's wait for Ifeanyi to join us. Let's wait for Ifeanyi to join us. But if you found this session very useful, let me know. Just drop, will I say, a word that summarizes all that you've experienced or all that you've learned so far. Just drop it in the comment section. So let's all learn from you as well. Let's wait for Ifeanyi to join us. Oh, and another thing is, I know Dubai, they don't tax the salaries of their employees. We do that in Nigeria. We tax the salaries. Our salaries are taxed as an employer. I'm an employer, but regardless, it's still being taxed, and that's even aside from your personal income taxes that you pay. It's ridiculous. But I know someone that pays as much as 30% of our total salary to the government in terms of taxes. Dubai does not do that. They don't tax your salary. So whatever it is you get, maybe some deductions are being done at the end of the day for maybe certain nuances that you use. But that's it. The government does not touch your money. I think they built such a great system whereby to attract people to actually come and work in. I don't even think Canada even does that. Then you're urged to actually go to Dubai and actually provide work. So I think it's a fantastic thing from them. Let me know, do you have any other thing about any other, like, say, tidbit about Dubai that you've maybe and I don't know, or the rest of the audience do not know about? Okay, so really based on what he's explained, I'm reading the comments that's just sent. I got more knowledge regarding getting a job through agency Especially, I actually have a question for him with regards to getting or finding the right recruitment agency, which is going to be answered once it comes back on. So the conversation was very helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. You're most welcome. That's what we do. That's what we do. What's going on? I can find Ify. Just give me a couple of minutes. We're about closing out the session anyway. Just give me a couple of minutes. Okay. Or we can do a part 2. Really, we can actually do a part 2. That's good. And that's because the taxes are on everything in the store. They tax you too if you go to the store in Nigeria. You know, about 30% of your total take home, what you're working for, it's a lot of money. Even 20%, even 10% is a lot, you know. So, and they're still taxing us if you go to supermarkets actually shop, or even if you go to the Oja, you know, the normal local market, because they would have added it to it. So it's not agnostic really. But yeah, I really, when I saw that, I was very, very happy, because I know when I was working a 9 to 5, my taxes were ridiculous. I was not happy. Anytime HR said to me the pay slip, I was always having an anxiety attack. Like, why am I paying the government this much? What are they using the money for? And so on and so forth. You know, but hey, it's the system we have, it's the policies that we have. Okay, but I was very happy to know that.
Yeah, to come back now.
Okay. So if he's going to join us back shortly, he just sent me a message. Oh my God, so we have less than a minute left. I just got the countdown timer. We most likely will have a part 2 of this session. I want to talk about relationship and finding, getting a relationship or whatever it is it's called in Dubai, connecting with people in Dubai, you know, finding, you know, networking opportunities. Where can you go to actually network with people? That we've spoken about the fact that networking is a huge deal in Dubai. Where can you go to? Where are those places you can go to? Where are those places you should avoid as an African? Because I know there's some sort of xenophobic thingy too also going on in some parts of the UAE. Okay, so those are the knowledge that we should have, you know, especially those that are looking to actually work there. Okay, so we may. Okay, it's back. Yes, that's what it's saying. Just Dave. Dubai has not started issuing out visas to Nigeria just yet. If you can hear me. Okay, hi. So we have less than
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
seconds left, and we obviously have a whole lot more to talk about. So we may need to have a part 2, and we have questions actually that needs to be answered. So we may need to. So,
Oh, great! Happy,
so we
happy,
may likely have it
happy
next
to.
week.
Yeah.
I am not confirming anything yet. If you see, once you poster confirms everything, trust me. But yeah, we have less than 10 seconds, and I usually want this to be an hour, full stop. Okay, so definitely back. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend.